Today, we're going to remove the outer fairing, this section here, and hopefully get this prepped and ready for paint. To remove the fairing, there's one screw underneath the fairing right by the forks. There's one on each side. There's another screw here right by the clutch lever and the brake lever. And of course, you got the 3 screws in the front here that hold the wind deflector. So what we're going to do is we're going to get those 4 screws out first, and then we'll come over here and we'll get these out. Right, once you get all those screws and bolts out, you should be able to just lift this right up and out of here. Basically what I'm doing with the wire wheel is cleaning the threads up, getting rid of the old Loctite. Now this piece, I'm going to paint this black. To prepare this piece for paint, I'm going to have to get these nuts out. Right, so these 2 pieces are done. Set them aside. In case you guys and gals are wondering why I took the air filter off, it's because I actually wanted to clean it. It's been like 2 years since I've cleaned it. And what's nice about this kit, the K&N Recharge Kit, it's got your cleaner and a spray bottle. Spray it on there, let it set for 10 minutes. Run the water on the inside of the filter so the dirt and stuff can come out the other side. And that's what you end up with, the filter that's clean. You let it dry overnight, and then the next day you give it a light coating of the oil right over the outside, real light. It's going to turn like a light pink to red color. Tomorrow when this is dry, I'll show you quickly how to spray it, which is really no big deal. So I already removed the rubber that goes around here. I just pretty much peeled it off. This has been an ongoing process, and I really didn't think you wanted to see me sand this with the orbital sander for hours on end. But I finally got it all stripped down. Right now what I'm doing is I'm hand sanding with 220 just to smooth out the whole fairing. Right now it's really rough because I used 100 grit on the orbital sander. This is the make it or break it point right here. This is where you should be spending all your time, is getting this thing ready for paint. I am using a what's called a block, sponge block, I guess, for sanding. Problem is you can't really get into these corners here, so you got to do all that by hand. I don't know if you can see. I can barely see it. I bought this bike used years ago, and I got a good deal on it because the guy dumped the bike. And right here in this corner, it's a little flat spot. You probably would have never noticed that if I didn't show it to you. But I know it's there, and it bothers me. So, I'm going to fill that in. This is what I'm going to be using, Bondo Fast Dry Filler. It's going to take a very small amount just to get that curve back in there. So I'm just going to use a piece of paper to mix this up. Put that on there. So I'm just going to build this up to where I think it needs to be. And let me just put a little bit more on there. Now we let that dry. I'm going to take the sanding block and I'm just going to work this curve till I'm satisfied with it. Take your time doing this. Don't want to rush it. Now that I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to switch over to 320 and finish it up. And there you go. No more flat spot. Again, I know it's difficult for you to see this, but now it's nice and curved, just like the other side. You want to go with the curve. And go very lightly, don't press too hard. Let the sandpaper do the work. Yeah, that looks good. Wipe this down real quick, get all that dust and stuff off of there, get it ready for paint. I will do this one more time. When it's time to paint, I'll clean it up right before we get ready to paint it. And then we'll use a lint cloth to get any lint and stuff off of here. So there you go. Finally finished the outer fairing. Stripped down, sanded, and ready for paint. This has been 2 days worth of work, believe it or not. I found some stripper. They claim will work on 2K paint. It's aircraft stripper. So I ordered it. It wasn't cheap, but I am not going to be able to, like this fairing, the inner fairing, I'm not going to be able to sand this by hand. I'll be here for weeks trying to get all these nooks and crannies stripped. So hopefully that paint strip arrives soon and we'll be able to get this paint off a lot quicker. So next video, take off the light bracket, turn signals, driving lights, whatever you call these, and this piece here, and then we'll get these prepped and ready for paint. I know the sanding and prepping is a tedious task. A lot of you don't like to watch it. That's why I cut it down to like nothing. But I want to tell you, that's the most important part of a paint job. I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional, so please don't take what I do and say as gospel. Nowhere near a professional. I'm just doing this on my own and learning as I go. Just like I'm sure some of you are learning as you go. But again, I can't stress enough, the prep work, getting the parts ready for paint is the most important thing. That's all I got for today. God bless. I'll catch you on the next one.